Absolutely horrific news coming out of Minnesota. Prayers to everybody who was affected. Apparently 20 kids injured in a church, at least 2 confirmed to be gone. So sorry, I can't even imagine what it would be like to be a parent. When things like this happen, which are becoming more and more prevalent both in Canada as well as the United States, sadly, I think we have to examine what's causing the perpetrators to carry these types of disgusting acts out. And in terms of the medication of our youth, the perpetrators are nearly always either in their late teens or mid to early 20s. Very similar makeups on the perpetrators in these types of situations. When you look at the percentage of Canadian youth who are on some sort of a medication, the numbers are truly staggering. We have become a culture that, rather than saying, let's focus on family, healthy living, all the things that were traditionally looked upon to help our struggling youth, we now live in such an incredibly heavily medicated society that we've seen a rise in violence in Canada that parallels what we're seeing in the States, incredibly sadly. A couple of statistics: 23% of Canadian youth are now on at least one medication. 9% are on 2 or more. Among Canadian youth, visits to the ER are up 45%. You can just continue to go through statistic after statistic after statistic. There's clearly something terrible going on among a very vulnerable demographic. And unless we take a serious look at how to deal with this in a concrete fashion, rather than just being a culture in Canada of, oh, we'll throw you on medication, you're having these issues. The answer is the answer that we're giving on a more and more frequent basis, certainly more frequent than ever before, is the answer is pills. And I don't think there's any doubt that when you look at the data coming in from the past 2 decades, which is how long this style of medication has been looked at as really the solution to the problem with young people with mental health issues, we have to take a hard look in the mirror and say, as a culture, and there are so many Canadian cultural issues that, in my opinion, are trending in the exact wrong direction. We need to look at saying, are there other ways that we can deal with young people? Everybody knows that being young is a very hard time for a lot of people. You're not quite sure who you are. You're not quite sure what your identity is. For the studies show that in over 90% of cases, these horrific types of events, we're dealing with young people. And it's so sad, but to see at a church 20 people injured, the details of the story are just horrific. In Canada, we dealt with a 17-year-old, a very similar incident a year ago. All crime rates, violent crime rates, crimes against women, theft, all are up staggeringly 30, 60, 80% over the past 5 years. And in Canada, we need to seriously look at the culture that we're setting. Culture, politics tend to flow downstream. And we need to take a good look in the mirror and say, are the values that this government has promoted over the past decade, are they conducive to a healthy society? Because I would make a strong argument that the Canada that I see walking around on a day-to-day basis now has gotten a lot culturally weaker and harder for children to navigate, in particular, over the past decade or so. And it's very sad to see young people struggling like this. And I think in a lot of cases it's nefarious, it's malevolent. But these young people in their late teens, early 20s are some of the most vulnerable to information that isn't correct or being pushed in the wrong direction for some very disturbing reasons. So a serious look at the policies that have been implemented over the past decade and trying to find solutions that don't involve a medication. We're one of the most over-medicated societies in human history. Statistic after statistic in Canada bears this out, so that we can avoid the types of horrible things that we're seeing now. I'm organizing a rally, Parliament Hill, Saturday, September 13th. Take Canada back. We need Canadian patriots out on the streets. I know we outnumber the wildly woke far left wing, but we need to get out on the streets ourselves. I'm so sick of seeing foreign flags on our streets. It's about time that Canadian citizens fought back. Shoot me a message. Let me know if you're interested. Saturday, September 13th, noon, Parliament Hill. If you're watching on TikTok, I'm at 10K subs now. So the Canadian government's not a big fan of dissidents. Make sure you're watching me on YouTube, youtube.com/FightForCanada. On YouTube, please like, subscribe. Super thanks. Help me push my message out there. Patriotic Canadians need to fight back. We are going to win this battle, but it's not an easy one, and we're going to have to push hard every day.